Hello, everyone. Jax West from Stephen Avery Project, Justice with Jax, and MAM Gossip on Facebook. And I just made posts on our Stephen Avery Project on Facebook that I was coming live here on YouTube to discuss this alleged letter that Stephen has written. I can't go live on Facebook because I am still in Facebook jail where they won't let me do Facebook Lives, but that's another reason why we're moving things over here to YouTube. We don't get as many people that come over here from Facebook, so not as many people are gonna see it, but I figured I would try. If nothing else, that I will read this letter and give my thoughts on it. And sup, cat? So this was a spur of the moment thing. I had a Zoom meeting that just ended, and so since I'm sitting up at this computer, I only really use this computer for when I do lives. I'm like, all right, might as well go live. So somebody messaged me the screenshots of the letter. I don't know where it originated from. Another YouTuber made a comment on the pictures that I posted on our Facebook page that the letter was sent to Sandra Greenman, which I'm not a Sandy fan and don't trust her because I know personally she has lied to Steven about me. So I have to say alleged letter that Steven wrote because it didn't come directly to me, and I have not heard from Steven myself on this. So, but looking at his handwriting in this letter, do I have one of Steven's letters right here so I can? No, I don't know where I have it tucked away from when Steven's written to me, but this does look like, in my opinion, Steven's handwriting. And some of the things in this letter are things that I know Steven has said to me. So I'm going to say I believe this letter is legit, but I still have to say alleged because it didn't come directly to me. So this is a 4-page letter that I have it posted on our Facebook page, so you can go there to read it for yourself if you wanna see it for yourself. Um, I'm not doing the whole screen sharing thing. I haven't even looked in how to do that. I'm not a professional YouTuber. Um, but I have it on my other screen and I'm going to read it and then I'll share this video when it's done back on Stephen Avery Project for people to see it because I know a complaint we were getting from people is a picture of a letter for people who don't speak English. They can't translate it. So, um we'll see if the video is better for them or not. Don't know. So the letter was written on January 23rd, is what the page is dated. And on the top of the page, it says Stephen Avery, one of four, because it's 4 pages, just one side of the page. And says, well, to all my supporters, smiley face. So why did Bobby junk his black blazer? It was in good shape and only had it for a few months. Was Teresa and he's got Teresa underlined, and he's got black blazer underlined too. Was Teresa Halbach in his blazer? Question mark. Yes! Exclamation point. And that's why he junk it to destroy the evidence that she, Teresa, was in it. So Earl and Chuck crush it to destroy all the evidence. And they know it all. Bobby, Scott, Barbara, Earl, Chuck, Carla, Candy, Kayla, Brittany, Marie, Michael Osmondson, which is Bobby's friend. They all stuck all together and they help with it all to set me up and get rid of me. Let me go through those names again in case people don't know who all these people are. So, Bobby is Steven's nephew. So, that is Barbara's son and Brendan's brother. Scott Taddock, who was at the time Barb's boyfriend, who she had had a long affair with. Scott Taddock was Barb's husband number two's cousin. Barbara, which is Barb, Steven's sister, Brendan's mother, and Bobby's mother. Earl and Chuck are Steven's brothers and Barb's brothers. Carla is Chuck's niece who thinks for some reason that she gets to be the spokesperson for everything making a murderer because she is an Avery, but she runs guilty groups and says Steven is guilty and has done some pretty shady things. Candy was Earl's wife at the time, and Kayla, Brittany, and Marie are Candy's daughters. Kayla and Brittany are her daughters with Earl. Marie is her daughter from another relationship. And then Michael Osmondson, Bobby's friend. Okay. So that's who that cast of characters are. They didn't okay, wait, let me go back to this too, where he had said they all stuck together and they help with it all to set me up and get rid of me. So, when I first got involved in the Making a Murderer case, and it's so funny because it was just in my Facebook memories today. This is the 6-year anniversary of the first time I ever went to the salvage yard. So, when I originally started on all of this, I was friendly with many of these family members. And so when I walked the salvage yard, Carla and her husband Stacy and Barb walked with me. We were all together. And I was told then that the family all hated Stephen. They thought he was an asshole. They wanted him gone. They don't want to share the salvage yard with him. Now, it wasn't said to me that they had anything to do with the crime. They were just all telling me that they didn't want Stephen around. And that in the 2 years that Stephen was out in between the, first case and now the second time he's framed, they said that Stephen had such an attitude with them and treated them all like crap, and that they were just biding their time because of his $36 million suit, because they knew Stephen would share it with them. So they were taking his abuse just so they could get paid. And my opinion on whether or not Stephen treated them like dirt, he probably did. And I don't blame him for a second. Because in the Penny Bernstein case, these people abandoned him then too. And so he just heard from his parents. They were happy he was gone. Said things to the press that Stephen was guilty in the Penny Bernstein case, even though they know he's not, because they knew he was innocent. But his brothers were happy to be rid of him. So now when this case comes along, how can they jump on it to make it so the salvage yard goes only to them and split 2 ways? Barb's always been cut out. The parents have really not cared for Barb the entire time. So the salvage yard was going to the 3 boys, not Barb. They don't wanna share it with Steven, even though Steven is the one who knows how to run that salvage yard and has a love for it. So here he is in this letter saying, "Set me up, get rid of me." Yeah. I've heard that from various family members, not the setup, but they wanted to be rid of him. Heard it myself. Um, they didn't want me around, and that's why they want to get me out of the way so they can take all my stuff and take all the property, and that's what they did. And then he's got a frowny face. And they all stolen from my mother too. So let's talk about Dolores Avery, shall we? Here's another story I can tell you. I am somebody who, as I said already, I was very friendly with the family originally. And that's the way I am, period, in life. I will always give somebody a chance. And once you show yourself to me and show that you're not what I thought, I'm done with you. So they, the kids, Steven's brothers and Barb and Carla, all of them, other than Kayla, pretty much abandoned Dolores. Dolores would stay at the salvage yard, and her husband would stay up in Crivets. Carla has knocked me before when I've talked about this. I am not saying that Dolores and Alan are not married or whatever. Just they're older, and Dolores preferred to stay at her trailer, and Alan liked being up in Crivets. That's all. But Dolores's trailer, even though it's literally right across the parking lot, or the parking area for the salvage yard office, she was left on her own. And there was a period of time that I had a decent relationship with Kayla. Kayla, the Debbie show. Um, so Kayla, Earl's daughter, who Kayla is the one who lied and said Brendan had confessed stuff to her, and then she took it back on the stand, which I give her props for, because that takes guts to say I lied on the stand. Um, Kayla loved her grandma and took care of her grandma when nobody else could give a crap. And one time Kayla had told me that she was trying to save money to get an air conditioner for her grandma. She said her grandma has never had an air conditioner. And so then I had said to Kayla, I've got a window unit that's sitting in my shed that we do nothing with. So I'll give it to you. So you just tell me when would be a good day to come up, which I had already been up there before. I've already met and talked with Dolores. Um, so I'm like, you just tell me when's a good time to come up, and I will bring the air conditioner and I'll have my husband put it in for her. She's in a trailer, a small area. My window unit will do all she needs for that area. And so then Kayla let the Avery brothers know that I was going to give an air conditioner to Dolores, and so now all of a sudden they were gonna give her an air conditioner. So, she was neglected by her family, who would then trot her out on social media in pictures, which and make her go to their rallies and stuff that I know from a personal conversation I had with Dolores, she didn't wanna go to any of those rallies. She didn't want any attention, none of it. But they needed that for people to give them money because everybody wants to take care of Dolores. Dolores is the one who her son has been stolen from her, not once, but twice. Dolores is the one that always supported Steven, even if you've listened to those jail calls, which we've done, that we've played the calls and talked about them. Steven wasn't always nice to his mother. Yet Dolores has always been there for Steven. And so this family would do fundraisers saying Dolores is going to be the benefactor. And so of these things that they were saying they were now buying for Dolores is, um, stuff to make her bathroom accessible for her since she's now older and couldn't move as well. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So this woman hasn't had any of this stuff? You just but now that you're trying to raise money, it's, "Oh, we're gonna do these things for her." They Steven had hired Kayla at one point to be Dolores's, like, at-home nurse because it's also something that Kayla does for a living. And then the family started saying that Kayla was stealing money from her grandma when it turns out it wasn't Kayla who did it, um, to then get Kayla kicked out and not taking care of Dolores. And nobody would makes Dolores smile and laugh other than Steven than Kayla. Dolores adored Kayla. And Kayla's gone through some, sometimes I can support her, and then there's times she's come out swinging at Steven, and I know she's manipulated by the family. I can tell you that first time that I went up to Manitowoc, that family we were inside the Avery salvage office, and so it was Chuck, Barb, Scott, Stacy, and Carla, and they were saying such horrible things about Kayla, and I'm brand new to all of this too, um, and I was just horrified that they were talking about a young girl like that. I mean, saying really nasty things about Kayla. And then the last thing on the whole Dolores thing is they then took Dolores away from Steven. The last year of her life, Steven had next to no contact with his mother. She was sick. She wasn't in her right mind any longer. So, sure, maybe she wouldn't have even remembered who Steven was. You don't keep Steven from his mama. You let Steven talk to her. And so Carla had threatened on social media that they were going to remove Dolores from the home that they had put her in. And I'm not knocking them for putting her in a home because at least she's hopefully, I mean, I know there's some homes that don't take good care of people, but um she's going to be taken better care of than the Avery family would do. So putting her in her home is the best thing for her. But they then said they were going to put Carla said they were going to take Dolores out of that home and put her in another one so Stephen could never find her again. And so when Dolores died, when was it? Was it just a day before Stephen's birthday? It was right before his birthday in July that she died. Stephen was just destroyed and feels that his mother died from a broken heart because they kept Dolores from him. So this family has is not supportive of Stephen other than Dolores, and now she's gone. And his cousin Kim Ducat. Kim Ducat has always been on for Stephen and none of this other crap from the family. Let me go back um to the letter. It says, "And Earl and Chuck crush all Barbara's vehicles that she had on her property. They crush all the vehicles she had. Why?" Now we go to the second page. "And they all said I was guilty on this case. Earl and Chuck, Barbara, Scott, Carla, Candy, Kayla, Brittany, Marie said I was guilty. They want everything from me and my money and my property that they got to now. They were," and this is underlined, but it's also misspelled. And I'm reading it as it's written. So just know that obviously Stephen doesn't have the best grammar. So the word that's written here is predicting, but he meant protecting. They were protecting Bobby. Bobby is also underlined. So I won't get out on this case. You do have that guy that's seen him with the Toyota RAV4 on Avery's Road. And how would he have Teresa Halbach car if he didn't kill her? Bobby stated that he hunted on the property behind Taddock's house on 147. 147 is the road that the salvage yard is on, but Scott lived down that road in a trailer at that time. Um, Behind Taddock's house on 147 east of the salvage yard at 3:02 p.m. on 10/31/2005. Bobby hit off tower 363X 5.47 miles west of Avery's property instead of 370X. Because now remember, in Bobby's story, and him and Scott Taddock do the crisscross, that they claim that they passed each other going opposite directions. Well, the direction that Bobby said he was going, his phone actually says he was somewhere else. And Scott Taddock, his cell phone is the same as Bobby. And that's the first I'm hearing of that Scott's cell phone was at the same place Bobby's was. That's interesting. Scott talked to Bobby before this all happened. And Scott was waiting for Bobby up the road, and Bobby picked him up, and I think that says went or want, and got Teresa, and they put her in her RAV4. Thin, he said thin instead of then. Then they had to hide Teresa RAV4, and they had to, and I'll have to click to the next page, but let me comment on this when he's saying, where he says Scott was waiting, or that Bobby had talked to Scott. Now, I used to visit Stephen in prison. Okay. There's one picture until Sandy and some other people started. Sandy and some other people told Stephen that I was talking crap about Dolores. And so that got Stephen pissed at me. And so I don't talk to Stephen any longer, even though he did call me after his mom died because he wanted Stephen Avery Project to post it, that his mom had died. But back when I used to visit Stephen in prison, he told me that he had seen Scott parked over at Barb's when only Bobby was home during the day. All right, going on to page 3 of 4. Put her in Bobby's blazer so they could get rid of her. And this is why they got rid of the blazer and Crush It, Earl and Chuck. And Michael Osmondson, that's Bobby's friend, help. And Michael Osmondson is the one who said that Stephen had said to them, you want to help me hide a body or whatever it was. That's who Michael Osmondson is. And Michael Osmondson helped Bobby to clean everything up. They were best friends, Bobby and Michael, and Bobby called him Michael. Every time she came out to take pictures, he was watching her, and he would talk to me that she would be out there all the time. Which, again, when I used to visit Stephen in prison, Stephen told me this too. Stephen said that every time Teresa Halbach had been on the property, Bobby would make some kind of comment about it and refer to her like as the girlfriend. So he was always paying attention to whenever Teresa Halbach was going to be there. He would be the last person to see her, and I think that was personal to him, Bobby. Well, maybe Bobby picked up Scott at Jumbo Creek Road. So Jumbo Creek is 147 Jumbo Creek goes here. So you turn on the Jumbo Creek Road if you want to then get into the quarry behind the salvage yard. So you go down Jumbo Creek. Um, mm, 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 where was I? Uh, Picked up Scott at Jumbo Creek Road so Scott can leave his truck there and go with Bobby. And that's where they met, right? Then they had to catch up with Teresa, and that's why Scott was by Barbara's house that day. And this had it all planned out for this. And they had it all planned out for this. And that's why their cell phones are west of Avery's. And this I have to go to a next page, but let me read Millbilly. Millbilly's got, I'm sure you all know because he's been on YouTube forever. So he's got a YouTube channel that discusses the case a lot. So he's got a lot of information on the case. Millbilly says Mike told law enforcement he was only on property 11:10, but Stephen is arrested 11:09. Bobby states in trial that the body convo happened while cutting deer. Hmm. All right. So page 4 of 4. It says would make sense this way. And this is why Thomas Sawinski saw Bobby with the Toyota RAV4 of Teresa's Saturday morning, so no one would hear them out there. Mr. Thomas Sawinski was delivering papers in the morning, so this is all fix the crime and they should be restricted for murder and destroying evidence. Everybody, how destroying evidence and look them up so we don't have a killer out there on the loose so he can kill again. Now I want to talk about this Thomas Sawinski thing since we're right here. So Thomas Sawinski says he saw so this is early Saturday morning while it's still dark out. That is also the family went on Friday to Crivets. So Stephen and Brendan, everybody's like going to Crivets. Bobby didn't go. And you also know then, being family, that not everybody is around. And if you're Stephen Avery and you committed this crime, and even though you've got a compactor right there that you could have crushed the car and you didn't, and people will say, "Oh, well, he didn't want to do it at when people were around. That maybe people would be suspicious that he crushed the car." So, you know, the whole family's going to Crivets that weekend. So, wouldn't that be the perfect time for Steven to stay back and crush the car? You know, the salvage yard is only open half the day on Saturday and closed on Sunday. So, Steven could have done it then. But no, he leaves. That makes 0 sense. That Stephen, who you've got evidence, you know, bones have been burning there, and the car is back there by the pond at the very end of the property. Things that need to go bye-bye. Everybody's gone. When now the salvage yard isn't open to the public, so you don't have to worry about random cars coming. But Stephen goes to Crivets. Bobby doesn't. Um, where was I? I feel alone from my family and cut off from my family. Stephen knows his family are pieces of shit. He and I have discussed it. When I would talk with him about the money manipulation that was going on and the things like Carla was doing, he was livid. But then also at the end of it, he would say, "But family is family." So these people take advantage of that Stephen, even though he knows these people are wronging him, they're his family. And so I feel bad for him, even though these are horrible people and Stephen should run from them, for him to say, "I feel cut off from my family. I feel alone from my family and cut off from my family." And that's because he is. It's so sad. It's Stephen has lost everything. Penny Bernstein case, he lost his wife, who's now married to Brendan's, um, father, lost his kids, pretty much lost his grandkids. So, he's got one daughter, Jennifer, who does, when able, she has a relationship with Stephen, but for the most part, he's lost everything. And then he finally gets freed and is out for 2 years, and this wrong is gonna be righted even so slightly. Because how do you repay somebody who's lost 18 years of their life and their marriage and their children? Um, and so he had a girlfriend. We know Jody's a piece of crap, but this that's who he loved, and it's not for us to choose. So he's in love and he's happy and he's got money around the corner, more money than he's ever known. And then he's framed again by the same people who framed him the first time. And his family jump right on it to, because I have, is it in this thing here? Where is it? I have so much paperwork. It's like insane. All right. That's exhibit list. I have both Stephen and Brendan's visitors lists from 2010 to 2020 when COVID stopped visitations. Um sorry. I'm trying to get to it. These are all exhibits first. So here's the visitations. Okay. And then I color coded them for different family members of when they visited. Stephen's family, other than his mother and his father, and Barb did a couple times. They didn't visit Stephen the second time that he went to prison until Making a Murderer came out. Once Making a Murderer became a success, they then went to visit Stephen. And so I have the list here of the 10 years that I have this visitors list from 2010 to COVID in 2020. Dolores visited Stephen 62 times, Alan 44 times, Barb 4 times, Earl 19 times, and Barb visited only 4 times, but she went prior to Making a Murderer. Notice you don't see Chuck Avery. They abandoned him in prison. And then Making a Murderer came out, And then hey, let's do a GoFundMe, which all the money from that initial GoFundMe is still not accounted for. The money was split from that original GoFundMe, that half of it was supposed to go to Steven and half was supposed to go to Brendan. When Kathleen Zellner took on Steven's case that January after Making a Murderer came out, she got Steven's share. Brendan's share is in the great unknown. Brendan's lawyers didn't get it. I know because I've talked to Drizzen about it. And so, what I was told by the family, I've been told several stories on where that money went. I was told that it got put in an account that had Chuck Avery, Barb, and Dolores all on it. In an account. Oh, you want don't slap or let's slap Barb. Let's slap Barb. So it got put in an account with the 3 of the family members on it, and 2 would have to agree and sign out that money. And that they had done this because the family was so afraid that the money would go to Scott. And something they had said is that Scott would buy a truck. And it's very funny that at one point, Barb starts her own GoFundMe, and, um, after she had that GoFundMe, Scott got a new truck. But so, this family, when you watch Making a Murderer, and I did it too, I don't fault anybody. I felt so much sympathy for all the family. I felt a lot of empathy for Barb and what was done to Brendan. And so I've been in Barb's home. I've been in Carla's home. Um, Carla's come here and spent time at my house. I gave the family things. Um, I felt bad. But when you start looking at all the evidence and looking at everything, this family has never been supportive of Steven. Any support is for show to get things from supporters, whether or not it is money or attention. Because you got to remember, too, these are people that really didn't have friends, you know? They're not well liked people in their area. And now Carla's like head bitch in charge. And you'll see Barb anytime there's something talked about Brendan. And I do not deny the fact that Barb loves her son. I know Barb loves Brendan. But she's using this for herself and everything twists to her. Why are they doing this to me? Anytime there's been a denial in Brendan's case, what you hear from Barb is, why are they doing this to me? Bitch, you ain't a factor. But whether or not I think these people are pieces of crap, they're Steven's family and he misses them. And I hate that Steven has to feel that way because enough has been done to him. Let me read because there's only a tiny bit left of his letter. He says, I wish that somebody would say something in my family, would help me out and say the truth. And a innocent man sitting in prison for something I didn't do. I'm 1,000,000% innocent. Thank you for supporting me. Smiley face. Thank you. It it just enrages me that Steven's life is okay to ruin, but let's protect Bobby. I believe, okay, that if Teresa Halbach is dead, which in my eyes, there's never been evidence, proof that she is dead, but I do not think she's alive. I'm not one of those that think she's in Canada or anything like that. But if she is dead, it is at the hands of Bobby Dassey because that's where evidence, science, everything points to Bobby Dassey. Why are people okay with somebody being free who has murdered somebody and Steven's in prison? Oh, over money because you just want the salvage yard to yourself. Earl doesn't even give a crap about the salvage yard. That guy hardly ever works and just wants the money. And people just assume because of they look how they look and talk how they talk and it's a salvage yard and living in a trailer, that means these people are poor and you need to give them money. It's not true. They have money. Earl brags about it all the time. His cars and his toys and his multiple houses, they're fine. Right, Deborah, maybe not his first murder. Maybe he's done more than that. But you're okay with him being free just so you don't have to share the salvage yard with Steven. You don't know if Bobby's gonna hurt you. And then these people run these social media pages and give themselves the title of, we're the top supporters. And if you don't support these family members, then you don't support this case and blah, blah, blah. No, because you people are just fine with him being in prison. I am not fine with Stephen being in prison. I am not fine with Brendan being in prison. The thing that I have said with Brendan, though, it's not a nice thing to say, but I feel he's safer in prison. I don't want him with Barb and Scott or the crazy family members or the crazy fans that the family members hook them up with. I mean, Scott at one point pimped Brendan out to some supporter that lives in Arizona or something like that that has money. And so this guy would regularly donate money to Barb. Um, and this guy even came from Arizona with his daughter, and they put him on Brendan's visitors list and let him visit Brendan. And this girl visited Brendan too. And Scott deemed her Brendan's girlfriend. And then poof, that girl was gone. And so I'm upset about that because to Brendan, he's gonna think this is his girlfriend in a real thing. And then the girl is gone. I don't like Brendan being manipulated. I've never visited Brendan in prison. I used to talk to him on the phone, and Barb had given me her permission that I was to be added on the visitors list. And then people said a whole bunch of lies about me, and I was removed. But the thing with me is I'm following facts and the truth, and I'm going to say it as it is. I don't care if you like me or not. So, Steven, lots of times doesn't like me because Sandra Greenman and Sandra Greenman's fans and Carla's fans and such tell him lies. And here's what they had told him. They said I was talking crap about Dolores. And so what the actual story is Carla was having yet another every Christmas, she would raise money saying it was money for Dolores. And then she would do anytime something would allegedly break in Dolores's trailer, she would say, "Now we need people to donate because Dolores needs a new refrigerator, a new stove, or washer and dryer." I can't remember what appliance it was at this time. So, I went on Stephen Avery Project. On Stephen Avery Project, we have 200 and something thousand followers on there. And when Facebook would let me do lives there, I mean, there's only 28 people on here now, but on Facebook, I would have thousands of people that are on a video over there. Um, so I went on the video and told people, no, do not donate money to that if you want to help Dolores. I had said at that time, either send money to Dolores directly or send it to Kathleen Zellner and mark it that you want this to go to Dolores Avery. Or, because people don't realize you can do this, you can put money in Steven's commissary and he could send it out to his mom. That's what I said. I wasn't telling people don't help Dolores. I was telling people don't give money to that family who's claiming it's going to go to Dolores. I don't trust it. No, I wanted Dolores taken care of. Dolores is the only one who is innocent. So, but Sandy Greenman and her people told Stephen that I was talking crap about his mom. And so, of course, that is going to hork him off. And I've told Stephen before, back when I used to visit him, because Stephen and I have had such an up and down relationship that people lie to him about things about me. And then he gets mad. And I'm like, Stephen, please just ask me about it because I'm going to say the truth. If I said it, I said it. And I'll say I said it. You know, I would tell Stephen to his face. And when we would talk on the phone, I would talk crap about his family. So when they tell you these things, please ask me about it. I would never, ever, ever say anything bad about Dolores, ever. So I hadn't heard from Steven in a while. And the day Dolores died, I got a message from somebody who talks to Steven. And they said, Stephen wants you to post on Stephen Avery Project that his mother had died. I hadn't heard anything about it. It wasn't anywhere. Nothing was posted anywhere on Dolores's death. Well, Stephen, I know Stephen doesn't like me at that time. So I'm like unsure, is this factual or not? So the first thing I did is I emailed Kathleen Zellner and I said that I heard Dolores had passed away. Is this true? And then Kathleen emailed me back and she said, it's true. She just tweeted about it to confirm it. So now that Kathleen confirmed it, then I made the post. And then Stephen called me the next week and told me things that he wanted me to post. Because the whole time I've told Stephen, since I took over Stephen Avery Project from Curtis Bussey, who started it, Curtis Bussey started it right when Making a Murderer first came out. I said, this is a support page for Stephen. And whatever Stephen wanted me to post, I would. Because, like, there would be things that he would ask his family to post, and they wouldn't do it. Like when he was with that psycho gold digger. He wanted, like, a picture posted of him and the gold digger. Um, and again, it's Stephen's life. That chick's a psycho, whatever. It's not for me to decide, you know? So that's fine, Stephen. So Stephen said he wanted Stephen Avery Project to post that she had died and that he believes it was from a broken heart And then I was given other things that Steven wanted posted, and I posted it. He only called me that one time in July, and I haven't heard from him again since. But regardless of whether or not Steven likes me, or the family likes me, or people who do their various YouTubes or write their books like me, I don't care. I believe in Steven and Brendan's innocence, and I'm going to keep talking about this case until they are free. So this letter, when it was sent to me, that somebody sent me the screenshots, they didn't tell me it was from Sandy when I had first posted it. Um, and I would totally believe that he would send it to Sandy. But like I said, I just have to say alleged because it wasn't sent to me directly, and I don't trust Sandy from what she's done to me. Um, but I will put it up and we will discuss it. And from my opinion, this all looks legit. It looks like his writing. It is things I know he has said to me personally. And I continue to feel so horrible for Steven. I believe his family, though, has been relatively quiet on social media. I'm not in any of their groups. I don't have sock accounts to go spy or do any of that. I've got no interest in that. If there's anything that's really juicy, like this letter, people send it to me. So I'll get it. I don't have to go spy and do whatever. But from what people have said to me, it's been relatively quiet from the family. Um, but in my opinion on the case, again, like I said, is if Teresa is dead, Bobby Dassey is who did it. How did he do it? I don't know. I'm not Ken Kratz, Mr. Switty Swit Swit, who's gonna say, all my sexual desires and that this happened and that happened, because there's no proof. So can't say what actually happened to her because those bones found behind Steven's garage, nothing's been proven that that is Teresa Halbach. And every piece of evidence the state has is all questionable. And then you've got Stephen and Brendan are tried separately, but for the same crime, yet in Stephen's case, there's no Brendan because they force Brendan into a false confession, and then Brendan immediately takes it back. And so they can't use Brendan in Stephen's case because Brendan's not testifying, first of all. And even if they were able to manipulate him onto the stand, they don't know for sure what he's going to say, if he's going to say what they've tricked him into saying. I'm sorry, there's just no denying that that was a manipulated, coerced confession from Brendan. I'm not going by a documentary that, like guilters will say this one-sided documentary. The documentarians wanted all sides and went to everybody. It's not their fault that the other people didn't want to be part of it. And to try and show the other side, that's why they would show all those dumb press conferences. They did their best to show both sides. Did they leave stuff out in the documentary? Absolutely, they did. It's already how long? If you were to put every single thing about this case in there, we'd still be watching it. It would still be going on. But when you do your own investigating and look into these things for yourself, just more shows that Stephen and Brendan are innocent. And you have 0 on Brendan except for his coerced confession. There is 0 evidence that Brendan was ever in Stephen's trailer. Not just that day, ever. There's no Brendan in that trailer. Little trailer. Stephen is not gonna be able to clean a trailer that well that there's going to be no evidence of Brendan Dassey in that trailer. And then no evidence, and I do this every time I talk about it. I can pull my hair. You can't see it on camera, so I don't know why I do it. I shed like crazy. Um, no Teresa Halbach hair anywhere in that trailer. Then you're gonna say in Brendan's case, 2 men raped her. No bodily fluids. What'd you do to her head, Brendan? Punched her. What else? Cut her hair. No hair. No hair anywhere. Okay, what else? Cut her throat. No blood. No nothing. Nothing. Guilters will say, oh, the evidence that Teresa Halbach was in Stephen's trailer is that there was an auto trader in the trailer. That doesn't mean she went inside the trailer. She gives that auto trader, she gave it to all the clients that day, gives it to every client. Here's the auto trader and here's the bill of sale. Thank you. So, mm, no proof that Teresa Halbach was in Stephen's trailer. No proof that Brendan was in the trailer. I saw people discussing on Facebook on the posts of the letter, people are questioning Brendan because of the bleach on his pants. Oh, please. I don't want to get into bleach on the pants of a kid that lives in a salvage yard. Whether or not he had bleach splotches that were minute on his jeans doesn't mean he murdered somebody and cleaned up a scene. He lived at a salvage yard. So that's no evidence of anything. Right, Nan? Killed 2 different ways. Bothers me so much that in Stephen's case, Mr. Sweaty Sweat Sweat Ken Kratz is there's only one person responsible for this. Wait, I thought Brendan is raping her and slitting her throat and s singing songs around a fire, watching fingers and toes burn. Only one person responsible. Yet there Brendan sits since he's 17 years old that he has been incarcerated. Didn't get to go to school dances, didn't get to get a driver's license, didn't get to graduate high school. Imagine all the video games he has not been able to play. I have videos from the couple of times that I was at the salvage yard where I walked the Pam Sturm path of God and we timed it. There is no way you're finding that RAV4 in that period of time without being told where to go. Pam said they were scared and that they weren't just looking for her car, they were looking for her body. But with how quickly she found that vehicle, she was basically walking from one corner straight to another without looking at any of the cars that she went past. How does that make any sense? Why wouldn't you, right when you leave the office, you start looking at that first car and then working your way back? That's not what she did. Let's get into where that car was parked. I know I'm going way off on everything, but I'm also really revved up right now. I was only gonna read this letter and call it a day, and I have to go shopping, run some errands, but here I am ranting about the case, saying things I've always said. Where the RAV4 was parked, it's now double parked and going a different direction than the other cars. And to you and I, it's a junkyard. To the Avery family who run it, those cars were all put in specific places due to this and that and whatever. So that car then to the family sticks out being in that spot because that's not where that type of car went. It should have gone over there. Also, where it is you've got the salvage yard, you've got what they call the pit. Then there's a pond. Then there's that little road that is the very end of their property before the quarry is 12 feet away on the other side there. So this thing is parked on that road next to a pond that if you're in Avery, you know that pond is deep enough that you could have completely submerged that vehicle and nobody would have seen it. And throwing the stuff on the car makes it stick out even more. So it's parked in the area where it shouldn't be. It's double parked, going the opposite direction, and has things on it. It was basically doing the this doesn't belong here. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. The quarry that's behind it. I've driven through the quarry. And back at that time, you could drive right through the quarry into the salvage yard, into the pit. Carla told me herself that they used to have parties back there when they were kids. And so everybody knew how to come in that back way. If you're Stephen Avery, that allegedly just killed somebody and has this property, has this vehicle, and you just need to hide it for a little bit until you would think till the family goes to Crivets and you could use the crusher and nobody would see you do it. The quarry right behind it has big tall trees that you could literally drive a car right underneath it and nobody would see it. Don't you think you might do that instead of leaving it on your own property, putting it in a spot that Earl, who hardly ever works and is always driving his golf cart or his mom's golf cart around to shoot at stuff, would notice? Well, maybe he won't notice a car's in the wrong spot because he doesn't work or do anything. But Chuck would know. So there's no way Pam is able to find that car as fast as she did. It also makes zero sense that she was late to the search party that day. Okay? It makes sense that you would go to the places she was to visit on the alleged last day she's seen. So, yeah, of course you would go to the salvage yard because you knew she was going to be there. Everybody's gone already. Search parties are all gone, been given their designated areas to go search, and she and her daughter are there late. Yet they get the salvage yard and they get a camera and a direct line to the sheriff. Nobody else got those things. Why did she get those things? And why is she, who claims that she was a former private investigator, not know where a VIN number is in a car? And then want to open it and touch it if you're some private investigator who is also related to the Halbach family. So that's one video I did of my time there that there is no way that Pam Sturm did that. And then the other video I have um, is there is no possible way that the bus driver saw Teresa Halbach at the red van on that Halloween in 2005. You can see from my video, I stand where the Barb's van had been parked. And I wear, in the video, I'm in a bright orange tank top and I'm actually holding a camera and I was taking pictures of Barb's trailer where Chuck lives now and Steven's trailer. And so I was taking pictures of stuff down there. And then my husband was down where the bus stop is, where the mailboxes are. And first he is zoomed in on me. And so you see me in my orange shirt and taking pictures and stuff. And then he zooms back out on what your eye actually sees. You can't see me. You can't see the color of my shirt. You see nothing. So there is no possible way that the bus driver saw Teresa Halbach taking pictures that day. Now, in the bus driver's defense, she's always said she wasn't sure what day it was. And most times that cars were being sold that Stephen was dealing with Teresa Halbach for, the car was down by the office. That's where Teresa would take pictures of cars, is down by the office, where the bus driver absolutely would have seen her. So, when they're trying to do this whole timing of everything and they need this bus driver to estimate this time, because of course a bus driver is doing the same thing every day, she could not have seen Teresa Halbach down at the red van. Now, early on, um, in my theories in the whole case, because once I was convinced that this is Bobby, I thought maybe Bobby had stopped her down there by the office for the hustle shot. Um, but so bus driver could have never have seen her at the RAV4 down there. Nope. Nope, because she pulls in, she drops them off at the mailboxes, which they have Brendan talking about getting the mail, blah, 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 or whatever. And then you can drive into in between the Avery office and Dolores's trailer. And then there's a way to go around, because bus can't back up. So it's a perfect little loop. You drop them off at the mailboxes, drive through, and down Avery Road. So just this case drives me crazy when people are like, you're just convinced by a documentary, because there is way more evidence than you can imagine. I have forgotten so many things that I've learned over these 6 years on the case. Yeah, you're right, Millbilly. The jury should have been brought to the property. Yeah. Just like another thing, the fire. And I have pictures of this too, of where the burn pit is behind Steven's garage. That garage is built out of clapboard. And so if you have this raging fire that Scott claimed that he's saying like as tall as the garage, that garage would have gone up, because the pictures are misleading of making it look like that fire pit is farther away from the garage than it was, and then the propane tank is on the other side of it. But I also know from back when I was friends with Barb and Scott, when I was at Barb's house and I was doing a live video with it was Barb and Scott and Pete Dassey, and I was asking them questions. Um, I didn't do this. I don't think I did it on camera. I think this was something I asked talked to Scott privately about, is Why did you say the fire was that big?" And he's like, he doesn't know if there was a fire or not. It was the police wanted him to say that. So that's where that came from, which I believe. Absolutely believe that. Yeah, those 3D images and such, it's going there and seeing it for yourself, um, makes all the difference in my opinion. Something I got in trouble for, thanks to Carla. Hi, Carla. Carla always watches my stuff, by the way. Um, we've done tons of what we call field trips where I've gone up to Manitowoc and I've done live videos of all the spaces. We've even gone to Teresa Halbach's grave. We've gone to Carmen Bootwell's house. Um, but I we were on Cuss Road and I walked into the deer camp. I wanted to show people how close the salvage yard is to Cuss Road as the crow flies. When you have to drive the streets, not that it's that far, but you've got to drive around all the land on the roads. But if you're somebody that you did something and you got to run back right away or do whatever, just how close is the salvage yard to Cuss Road? And so I walked up the deer camp and got up on the berm and filmed so you could see how close that was. And Carla, hi, who watches everything, um, and has her sock accounts and all that crap. So she was watching my video and so she told her daddy Chuck, and then Chuck called Radant, and then Radant reported me for trespassing. And um so what's so funny is so I had to go to court in Wisconsin, and so what they get me on is when I was doing the live video, my husband was driving our car, along me side me, like, as I was walking, and so as I was videoing, I turned at some point and you could see my car, and you can see my reflection on my car. And so they took a still of that to prove that I had been on the property. And it's like, well, I'm not going to deny I was on the property. I was on the property. When I was there, I never saw a no trespassing sign, or as Earl calls it, trust passing, TRUST passing, trust passing. Um, I was there. But see, isn't it funny how the family wants me in trouble when I am one of the biggest advocates on Stephen and Brendan being innocent? So why do you want so bad to come after me if you believe Stephen's innocent and you're all good people? Because you're not good people and you've been okay with abandoning Stephen and fleecing supporters. And Bobby Dassey is guilty with an assist from Scott Toddock. So, but yeah, so I got in trouble for that one and had to go to court. And I use that case too when people want to talk about the RAV4 and the is it blue, is it green? And trying to say this isn't the vehicle, this is the vehicle because that's blue and that's green. The color of her car is mystic teal. Depending on the light, it's going to look blue or it's going to look green. So I don't jump in on that conspiracy theory. And my car at the time was blue, but in lights, it looks black, and some look blue. And so on the police report, it said I had a black vehicle. No, I don't. I have a blue vehicle. Look at the information of my car from the manufacturer. It is blue. Cop said it was black. Um, so there you have it. I know I've been oh my gosh, I've been on for over an hour now. Um, so this letter, 4-page letter, it is posted on our Facebook page. I also posted it on our Twitter, which I'm not a twatter. I've got the Twitters, the tweeters. I'm an old person, so Facebook is where I'm at. It's even here on YouTube. I don't know how to use this stuff. Um, but I'm trying. Anytime there is something new on Steven's case, if I'm available, I try to go live immediately. So if there is a filing, if there is any kind of big news, I come right away. It used to be on our Facebook page. I've been in they put me in Facebook jail for 2 months, where my punishment is I can't do live videos. So we're doing everything over here on YouTube. We do our weekly Wednesdays at 1 that we do live videos. That's 1 p.m. Central Time, my time, Chicago time. We cover a different case every week. That's through Justice with Jax that we call it, that we can cover other cases, not just Stephen. So that's the next time I'm scheduled to be live is Wednesday at 1 o'clock. We are covering, just so y'all know, we're covering the Dream Killer case, the Ryan Ferguson case that is also a client of Kathleen Zellner. And Dream Killer is available on Netflix, so you need to watch it. I need to watch it again, by the way, to take my notes on it. So, even though I've seen it like 3 or 4 times, but I like to watch it fresh and keep take notes. Um Oh, and every time I do a live video, I always have to talk about Melissa Kaluzinski. She is the case that I am closest to. She is also a client of Kathleen Zellner's. Um, when I talked to Melissa called me Saturday night. I think it was Saturday night. Um, she thinks that visits are going to start resuming at the prison. They've been on lockdown again. And so they're getting tested again. And hopefully the numbers are good and they're going to start visits again. And so that'll be good that Melissa will get to um um her parents and I will be able to visit again. And oh, and she finally talked to Kathleen too. So some things have been going on in Melissa's case that I can't talk about, but Melissa then had sent out legal mail. I can talk about this part of it right now. So she had sent out legal mail to Kathleen. And so legal mail, just like a legal phone call, is supposed to be different than if she's sending me something. They're not allowed to look at it. They're not allowed to listen to the phone calls on a legal call. So Melissa sent this stuff out to Kathleen 2 months ago, I think. 2 months or so ago. She just got it returned to her because Kathleen just changed offices and there was no forwarding address. And so the legal mail bounced back, came back to the prison, opened, and stuff missing from it. So now people at the prison or wherever has read her legal mail. You never want to give people a heads up on things that could be going in your case, any kind of strategy or whatever. But and so now Melissa had no way to contact Kathleen because Melissa can't call Kathleen from prison because the way Kathleen has her phone line set up when you call, it is press 1 for the office manager, press 2 for and you're not allowed to do that at the prison. They can only put in the number for the person. They can't hit any buttons extra. So Melissa had emailed me And she's like, and so she told me this stuff got returned, and can I reach out to Kathleen for her? So I just took a screenshot of that email and then emailed it to Kathleen of, what she had said. And so now when Melissa just called me, she's like, I just talked to Kathleen yesterday. So, and now Melissa's feeling better now, because that's like a lifeline to her, that she couldn't get a hold of her lawyer, and, her lawyer's office moved and all that. So she's feeling better about that now, and hoping that visitations start up again. I never schedule my visit until I talk to her parents first. The way they do their visits now during COVID is you have to schedule a visit at least 7 days in advance, and you have to do it online, and her parents don't know how to do that online. um, so then they always call me and say, "We wanna go visit Melissa such and such a day, so can you schedule this for us?" So and then, her parents and I are the only ones that visit her, that's it, so she's only getting her, and her parents obviously go together, so it's only 2 visitors that she has. So, I never wanna schedule my visit for, like, the same week her parents are going. I like to be a different week, and I always want her parents to be able to go first, because her parents can typically only go once a month. Back before COVID, I was going and visiting Melissa twice a month. But now during COVID, when it's allowed, I'll only go once a month, because of the whole 7 days in advance thing is kinda nutso. But then the other thing she said too is they were gonna now make the visits that you had to be vaccinated, both the inmate and the visitor. So hopefully that will cut down on the constant cycle of these inmates getting sick and then making it so nobody can visit and everything's shut down, and it's been horrible. So Melissa is feeling pretty good. At least when I talked to her on Saturday. She'll probably call me. She usually calls me like on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Um, so I'll see. I talk to her maybe twice a week, and then there's emails on top of that. Um, but Melissa's case, if you don't know the Melissa Kaluzinski case, her case was featured on 48 Hours twice, by Erin Moriarty, who a lot of shows and things you'll see did not give you all the facts and all, but Erin Moriarty does a great job on Melissa's case. And so it's 2 different 48 Hours episodes. One is called The Fight for Melissa, and one is called Blaming Melissa. You can find those on YouTube. Also, if you go on KathleenTZellner.com, she's got a thing where she's got her most notable cases that she's got separate pages for. Like there's a separate page for Stephen, there's a separate page for Melissa. And so she's got the links, I believe, on there to those 48 Hours episodes. And then the last time we were in court, they allowed, and Illinois doesn't really do this, they allowed a camera in the courtroom. So you can watch Kathleen at work on Melissa's case, there. So she's got that link that you can watch that. And we're still waiting for a date for Melissa to get back into court. She had a date prior to COVID, and they haven't rescheduled it for her. Um, but and I'm not I've now I've been on here way too long. Um, and we've got videos. If you go into here, you'll see there's other videos where I talk about Melissa's case. So if you want to do that. And I don't know if we did it on YouTube. Might have been on YouTube. There's a video I did where Melissa called me and I put her on speaker so people could hear her. And then there's a thing, I probably did it on Stephen Avery project, even though Stephen Avery people don't like when I talk about other cases, but Melissa's my girl, so don't care. Where I did a live video with Melissa's dad, and Melissa called in on that one too. So I've done a lot of videos on Melissa's case. So all right, let's let Barb and I'm gonna go. Anything else happens in Steven's case, we'll go live. You can follow the stuff we posted on Stephen Avery Project. Stephen Avery Project on Facebook, we have the public page. Then there's the closed group of Stephen Avery Project, which is pretty much all the stuff that's on the page. Then we have the closed group that is called MAM, which stands for Making a Murderer. You'd be shocked to know how many people that don't understand that MAM stands for Making a Murderer. MAM Gossip. The MAM Gossip page is where we really tear into the case. And so there's lots of stuff you can find in MAM Gossip. All right, really gonna go. Thank you all for joining me. Stephen Avery, innocent. And as always, investigation continues. Thank you, everybody.